With us now is Acting Consul General of Israel to New York, Ido Aharoni. It's a real pleasure to have you on the Shalom Show, sir.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, there's always a challenge for every country to convey its message, to communicate its assets, its advantages, its personality to the world. Israel, on the one hand, enjoys a unique advantage in the sense that we're already on the radar in most countries, in most cultures, in most media outlets. But there's, on the other hand, a problem because most of the information that exists out there about Israel relates to the unhappy geopolitical circumstances of the region. And this is not something that is conducive to Israeli economy. It's not conducive to the exposure of Israeli culture or Israeli tourism. It's not even conducive to the attempts, to the efforts to raise and garner more political support for Israel. So if you ask me, what's the number one challenge that we're facing now as a nation? This challenge is the ability to build relationships with audiences worldwide that go beyond the existing crisis that is being managed. It's all about the ability of building relationships with people, not just advocating a message. Mass media in general has a tendency to send out a very condensed message as a result, because of many reasons. The attention span is becoming shorter and shorter on the part of the media consumer. The technology allows that. So the shorter the message is, the shorter the interaction is, the more difficult it becomes for countries, institutions, and sometimes even individuals to tell their story. And it makes it very difficult for us to tell our story because our story is heavily relying on historical facts, and without the historical context, it's very difficult to understand our side of the story. So we're in a disadvantage. And I don't think that the media out there is maliciously anti-Israel. I do think that you will find, more often than not, journalists that are not doing the necessary groundwork, journalists that are not investing enough time in researching the story, in understanding the complexity of the story, and coupled with the natural tendency to search for easy solutions, what you get is a misperception that it's black or white, that it's a zero-sum game. Well, the key is to get the Israelis feel good about their country first. Then you'd like to get the people that care about Israel to feel good about Israel. The people that are supposed to convey the story of Israel have to be, in the first place, what we call Israel's well-wishers, Israel's stakeholders or shareholders. And you find them in Israel, you find them in Jewish communities worldwide, you also find them in some Christian communities, especially in America, but not only in America. There are many Christians that care deeply about Israel that live in Europe and other places. So that's the first thing you want to do. You want to make sure that the people that are already on your side, that care about you, that they are willing and able to celebrate Israel as a success story, to celebrate Israel as a place of achievement, as a place of positive contribution to the world. When people know nothing about Israel, it's very difficult for them to care about Israel. This is what we need to change. Sometimes we have a tendency to put all the critics in the same basket, but we need to make a distinction between the people whose criticism is not legitimate, those delegitimizers, for example. We need to isolate them, but at the same time, we need to be able to engage the people who may be very critical of Israel, but their criticism is legitimate. Israel is not afraid of criticism. We believe we have the best answers. But we need to equip the younger generation, especially the younger generation, with the right arguments, with the right tools, with the right answers to all those questions. That's what needs to be done.